Fair use.
Tonight, the Supreme Court dealing a major defeat to President Biden, striking down his plan to erase more than $400 billion in federal student loan debt. Chief Justice John Roberts, in a 6-3 decision, writing for the conservative majority that federal law provides no authorization for the administration to wipe out so much debt. The question here is not whether something should be done, it is who has the authority to do it, Roberts wrote, saying that the administration needed explicit authorization from Congress.
It is our duty to win!
The Biden plan would have left roughly 20 million people debt-free, but legally it was always a gamble, with even some Democrats previously sounding skeptical.
The president can't do it, so that's not even a discussion.
Today, the High Court said the administration doesn't get to rewrite federal law from the ground up. But the court's 3 liberals dissenting, with Justice Kagan writing, the majority reaches out to decide a matter it has no business deciding. First in her family to go to college, Maggie Bell has over $30,000 in federal student loan debt. She calls the ruling crushing.
It's hard for me to save now. It's hard for me to plan to buy a house. It's hard for me to get out of renting. I feel stuck.
But Tisfika Robb, son of a taxi driver, praised the decision, saying he never took out federal loans and the Biden plan was unfair.
What it's going to lead to is people relying on the government to bail them out when they are in debt.
The ruling comes as the court closes out yet another consequential term. With key decisions on major social issues, the justices have been sharply divided when it comes to affirmative action, and yet surprising many by upholding voting rights. And in another ruling today, pitting the right to free speech against the right to be free from discrimination. The court ruling in favor of a graphic designer, Lori Smith, who says she wants to make wedding websites, but not for gay couples.
Whether you share my beliefs or completely disagree with them, free speech is for everyone.
The 6 conservative justices concluding Colorado state law prohibiting businesses from discriminating against customers would force Smith to create speech she does not believe, drawing a line between what the state conceded was Smith's artistic expression and a more basic business like a restaurant open to all. The state blasting the decision.
This decision is not what our Constitution, what our democratic republic stands for. Our work to protect equality and to limit the damage from this decision will start today.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the article now. All right, 1 second. Biden claims he didn't give students false hope for loan relief during terse exchange with reporter. Biden knew that this wasn't going to happen. The Supreme Court is not going to forgive student loans. Plus, these schools and the financial aid office, they make money off of the fact that students can't repay their loans. All right? They know this. And the son of a cab driver, well, he is right. Some people will get offended by it, but in the end, it's like when you don't have a buffer, like a cushion for you. Hold on 1 second. Potato Joe lied to his idiot supporters and they believed him. Now they get egg on their face. If you sign the deal, then you pay the bill. Cheapsteaks. Well, that is true. That is true. So as I was saying, when you don't have a buffer, when you don't have anything to parachute for you, you're going to be more careful. You're going to think whether I can go to college or I'm going to have to go into the trades. Okay, if you are going to go to college, you have to finish. That's the thing. Nobody likes to hear that. Okay. But it's true. It's not even a Republican mindset. It's just a fact of life. Okay. If you were to take, let's not to get off topic. If you were to take if it, like, it is happening though. If you were to take Section 8, if you were to take away public assistance, a lot fewer women will be single mothers. Okay, a lot of women would be demanding to be, a lot would probably hold off on marriage, or just some would be going to the clinic. But I'll tell you now, a lot of people would stop getting pregnant because there's no incentive. Okay. Just like with student loans. Now I could delay it, you know. I could delay it if it doesn't go what if I don't finish, if I don't pay it. President Biden snapped at a reporter who asked Friday why he had given millions of borrowers false hope after the Supreme Court overturned the administration's plan to unilaterally forgive more than $400 billion in student loan debt. That was not happening. Why do you give millions of borrowers false hope? The journalist asked the president, "You've doubted your own authority here in the past." "I didn't give any false hope," answered Biden, 80. "The question was whether or not I would do even more than was requested. What I did, I felt was appropriate and was able to be done and would get done. I didn't give borrowers false hope, but Republicans snatched away the hope that they were given, and it was real hope." See, this is what they do. They always try to push it on the other side. Democrats will blame the Republicans, and Republicans will blame Democrats. "Did you overstep your authority?" another reporter asked. "I think the court misinterpreted the Constitution," the president responded before walking out of the Roosevelt Room of the White House. He didn't want to catch that, but he knows he's giving these people false hope. But at the same time, you know, you can't you can't get away from that. But here's the thing, El Niro Fontes, you have people, okay, who are on the Republican side that have not paid their debts as well. All right. Just to let you know. And probably don't plan on paying. All right. Why did you give millions of borrowers false hope? You've doubted your own authority here in the past, Porter asked. The court's conservative majority struck down Biden's loan relief plan as many as 43 million student borrowers as unconstitutional, saying the president and educational secretary Miguel Cardona could not rewrite a 2003 law meant to assist veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan wars. All right, that's fair. The question here is not whether something should be done. It is who has the authority to do it. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote in the court's majority opinion. So too here, where the Secretary of Education claims the authority on his own to release 43 million borrowers from their obligations to repay 43 billion in student loans. The Secretary has never previously reclaimed powers of this magnitude. Biden's plan would have forgiven up to $10,000 in federal student loans for Americans making under $125,000 and households earning under $250,000, and cancel as much as $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. The court conservative supermajority overturned Biden's loan relief plan for many as 26 million student borrowers either Friday. The money was literally about to go out the door, and then the Republican elected officials and special interests stepped in. Biden claimed before comparing the student loan handout to the COVID-era Paycheck Protection Program. But that program, which provided federal relief for employees to keep workers on their payroll, was passed almost unanimously by Congress as part of the CARES Act. Unlike Biden's debt relief proposal, both Democrats and Republicans also benefit from the PPP loans. The hypocrisy is stunning, Biden added. You can't help a family making $75,000 a year, but you can help a millionaire, and you have your debt forgiven. I didn't give any false hope, Biden said, but the Republicans snatched away the hope they were given, and it's real hope. So let me be clear. Republicans in Congress, it's not about reducing the deficit. It's about fairness and forgiving loans. It's only about forgiving loans they have to pay, he said. Today, the Supreme Court sided with them. I believe the court's decision to strike down my debt relief program was a mistake. and was wrong. Biden went on to say he had already asked Cardona to make use of another law, the Higher Education Act of 1965, to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. The president also said he will create 12-month on-ramp to defer bills for some borrowers based on the income on the once federal student loan repayments, resume October 1st, before laughing off Republican claims that his plan was a giveaway to the privilege. President Biden's student loan scheme is still illegal and does not forgive debt, but instead transferred from those willingly took on the debt to those who never went to college or sacrificed to pay their student loans. Senator Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana. Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pension Committee Chairman Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana, and House Education and the Workforce Committee Chairwoman Virginia Foxx, Republican, North Carolina, said in a joint release after the president's remarks that Biden was still unlawfully circumventing Congress to promise more loan forgiveness. President Biden's student loan scheme is still illegal and does not get, I read that already. Taxpayers just got sucker punched again by this administration, Fox added. Today, President Biden announced that taxpayers will be forced to pay for the costliest regulation in our nation's history, which only exacerbate inflated college costs and excess debt balances. Additionally, Biden confirmed plans to ignore the law and extend the repayment pause while also ignoring the Supreme Court and still trying to do blanket loan forgiveness. What the president is pushing is illegal, inflationary, and irresponsible. Yeah, man. Okay. Let's look into another article right now. Okay. Student loan borrowers default en masse to plunge U.S. into financial crisis that will dwarf the Great Recession. Okay. Student loan borrowers have vowed to default on their loans en masse following the decision by the U.S. Supreme Court to cancel Biden's student loan debt forgiveness program. According to borrowers, defaulting en masse would be a really effective way to say, screw you to America, and plunge the nation into a financial crisis that will dwarf the Great Recession. Okay, thing I can actually talk about, mass default on student loan debt would be really effective message to this country from the folks most impacted by our constant slide backwards. Just don't pay it. Hit the bricks en masse. Twitter user Derek Van Dyke wrote. Newsweek report on Friday, the Supreme Court reached a 6-3 decision to side with Republican-led states and cancel Biden's student debt forgiveness plan, which sought to cancel up to $10,000 in debt for borrowers with an income of $125,000 or less, and up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients. Payments on student loan debt have been paused for several months, dating back to the former President Donald Trump's administration. However, under the recently signed bill, debt ceiling legislation, payments are set to resume in October, and interest on the payments will resume in September. In the ruling on Friday, Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts said that the Biden administration and Education Department Secretary Miguel Cardona asserted that the HEROES Act granted them authority to cancel $43 billion of student loan debt. It does not. We hold today that the act allows the secretary to waive or modify existing statutory or regulatory provisions applicable to financial assistance programs under the Education Act, not to rewrite that statute from the ground up, Roberts wrote in his opinion. Following the decision on Friday, a number of other social media users brought up the idea of defaulting on their loans. To the 45 million borrowers of student loan debt, just let the loans go into default. Let the U.S. deal with the 1.7 trillion in student loans being default. Show them a financial crisis that will dwarf calamity of the Great Recession. Twitter. This is really childish. Everybody has to suffer because you took on a loan that you couldn't pay. That's what it sounds like. It really does sound like that. I couldn't get my way, so I'm going to make sure I make everybody suffer for something that I took on and you couldn't pay. Okay. Twitter user @StellarVarsity said, "I have an idea. It is totally radical and definitely have never been said before. The most American thing you can do now is defiantly default on your student loan. If everyone did it in the same months, it would completely derail the entire system and send a clear message. According to the Department of Education, if your loan remains delinquent for a same period of time, it may go into default. For a loan made under the William D. Ford Federal Direct Loan Program or the Federal Family Education Loan Program, you're considered to be in default if you don't make your scheduled loan payments for at least 270 days, the Education Department said. In 2016, the Fast Company reported on what could happen if every student loan borrower defaulted on their loans. According to the Fast Company, this would result in rising interest rate across the nation and impact the government's ability to borrow money. Bankrate analyst Sarah Foster explained to Newsweek on Friday that student loans are a form of unsecured debt, which means the government is not able to repossess your education or belongings if you don't make the payments. This is something, man. The childishness is unreal. I respect that son of a cab driver. He has the right attitude about it. All right, that's all I got to say for now. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. What are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments. Hard Talk Radio, live in 4K.